everybody. Welcome to Midweek Madness. I'm Miss Amy and I work at Dwight Foster Public Library. And today for Midweek Madness, Wednesdays at 1, we're going to be making a simple robotic arm or hand. And you're going to be able to make this. All right? So the supplies you're going to need today are scissors, some tape, pen or pencil, 5 straws, a ruler, a piece of paper. I would probably do cardstock if you could, so something a little heavier, and then we're going to need 5 pieces of string. You can use yarn if you'd like. All right, you got it ready? Let's get going. All right, so the first thing we're going to need to do is we're going to take our pen and we're going to put our hand down. I'm just going to take off my pen here. Put your hand down, kind of spread out your fingers, and we're going to trace around our hand. All right, bring back up. Then what we're going to do is we're going to cut out our hand. All right, so we've got our hand cut out. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to measure out, and we would like at least 2 feet of yarn. And so you can do that. You just put it next to your ruler and you measure it out and cut it. I've already done that. And if you are able to, if you can get yarn or something that has the little plastic pieces on the end, that's awesome. If not, not a big deal. That's when you just take your tape and you actually can put it right on the end of your yarn. I've done this many times so that you can thread it through. It helps a ton. All right, so you just do that and wind it around your end of your yarn or your string. And just keep winding until it is all done. And then you have a nice end of your string so that you can thread things. Okay, so we need 5 pieces of string because we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fingers. So we need to make sure we have 5 strings. All right, so I've cut mine. The next thing we need to do then is we're going to need to measure out 10 small pieces of straw that we cut, and they need to be a 1/2 inch. So you need 10 of those. Then you're going to need 5 that are 1 inch long, and then you're going to need 5 that are 2 1/4 to 2 1/2. So you need 2 1/2 to 2 1/4. You need 5 of those. Then you're going to need 5 that are an inch. And then you're going to need 10 of them that are about a 1/2 inch. So you want about that size, all right? So you cut all of those. I'll do one more here. All right. And then what I did is I actually put them on my pieces of yarn. Now the yarn that I have, you have to knot it at the end, all right? So I did like 3 or 4 knots. I just kept tying it and tying it just like this, just to give it a tie. Make sure that it's knotted. And this is so that it doesn't, your straw pieces don't pop through it, okay? So we're gonna take our last piece I have here, and we're gonna knot it. So like I said, I did probably 3 or 4 on each one, and you want the knot to be able to be right next to the knot that you did before, so that it keeps making a bigger knot. Just like that. All right, so there's my big knot. Then you want to take the 1/2 inch, the real small ones. You have 2 of those. And then you want to feed your string or your yarn through. So there's 1. And my second one. There's my second one, if you can see that. Then I want to take the inch, so the one that's just a little bit bigger. Put that on. And the last one I want is the biggest one that was 2 1/4 to 2 1/2 inches. All right, so there they are. They're all on my string. So now we're going to go back to our hand. And what we're going to do is we need to mark on our hand where our joints are. So where our fingers bend. So on our thumb, we want to mark that. We want to make sure we mark it on each of our fingers where it bends. All right, so there's my marks. And then what you want to do is we're actually going to fold where that bends. All right, so we're going to fold those spots. Now, as you can see, Miss Amy does not have a very big hand, right? But you can see where all of my joints are, all right? And then we also, our fingers also bend right here. So we want to make one last fold on those, down at the bottom. All right, and we got our thumb. All right, so there we are. There's our hand, all right? So our next step then is we're going to take our pieces of string that have our straws on, and we are going to tape. And we're going to start with the knotted side at the very end of a finger. I did find that it was a lot easier for these smaller pieces if I cut the piece of tape in half. Reason is the smaller pieces of straw were bigger, or the tape was bigger than the straw, and so it just didn't work as well. So you're going to tape it right onto your hand, so right at your joint there. Next piece of tape, you're going to take your next smaller piece of straw, and that's going to be your next joint. So you can see where that is. So your knuckles, right? And then we're going to get a piece of tape. And you want to make sure your tape is wider, so it has enough room to go on both sides because you're using both sides to come down. And then our biggest piece. And this one, if you want, you can do 2 pieces of tape because it is quite big. All right. So there's our first, our pinky finger, our littlest. All right. We'll grab the next one. Same thing. We're going to take our knotted part and we're going to put that past our fingertip of our hand. And we're going to take that first piece of straw on that yarn or rope, string, and that is going to be our first knuckle. And then we're going to do our second knuckle. And the extra pieces or extra part of the tape, I just bent around my finger so that it looks totally fine there, right? And there we go with our next piece. And then we're going to do our biggest one. All right, there's our second one. Let's do our third. Again, you're going to put the knot past your finger. Cut your tape in half. And do the smallest one at the top part of your finger by your fold. And then we're doing our second one. And our third. This one, my tape kind of comes over, so I'm just making sure that it wraps around. And then we'll do our last one. Okay, all right. All right, and there is our hand. So now what you can do is you can pull the different colors or the different strings, and it moves each finger by itself. Or you can move them all, like you're grabbing something, like our hand grabs. You can do all of them at the same time. All right, so there you go. We just made a simple robotic hand. And I hope that you guys enjoy it. And this one is a little bit challenging this week. All right, guys, I hope you enjoy putting together your simple robotic hand this week. Join us next week at 1 o'clock for Midweek Madness. We're going to have another challenge. We're actually going to be focusing a little bit, probably every other week, on our craft bags that you can get here at the library. So next week will be actually a craft type thing that you can pick up here at the library, all the materials that you need. I'll be demonstrating it, and then if you want to come and pick one up, you can. So I hope you guys join us next week for Midweek Madness on Wednesdays at 1 o'clock with Miss Amy from Dwight Foster Public Library. Bye, guys.